Hey Bookworms!
I'm Book Mouse.
And I'm Book Kitty, and this is our BookNook. This week we're going to be going over our top 5 for 2019. That is, we're going to each go over what our top 5 reads are for 2019. So stay tuned and find out which ones we really loved. Starting with number 5 and working our way down to our favorite book of the year. Book Mouse, what's your number 5?
My number 5 would be I Am Legend.
That's your number 5.
That's my number 5 of
that?
all the ones we've done. I've always enjoyed the story. I've always liked what's been done with it in the terms of cinematic productions, all the different versions that they've come out with. And I just really enjoy how well he shows you this man's isolation.
Perfect.
And it's going to be in my top 5 for a while. How about yours?
My number 5 is actually the Arrows trilogy. I would have loved to put it higher, but a few other books came that were just, for me, much better. But it did make it in my top 5. The Arrows trilogy by Mercedes Lackey, which of course is recommended by Mercedes Lackey. Lackey. Get it?
Yeah. Yes.
You're Mercedes Lackey. But I did enjoy that a lot. And I know it's 3 books, but I counted it as 1.
What about your number 4?
Number 4 was Night of Living Turkeys.
Ah.
Again, I would have loved to put it higher, but a few others took priority. I really enjoyed the satire of it. I enjoyed the nerd references. I enjoyed the simplicity of it, really. I mean, it's complicated for the characters, but very simplistic for the reader, and it was really just a fun, light read.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
I mean, dark, but light.
Dark but light but fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. My number 4 was going to be After Dark by Jane Castle. I really enjoy her stories that take place on her alternate worlds where colonists have gone through the curtain and their struggles, what they have to go through, and the development of abilities.
So you favor the book because it has a lot of world building and history.
It does. It has a lot of world building. And technically it's a romance, sci-fi, fantasy, murder mystery. I mean, they have a lot of murders in these books. But in the end, though, I just think it was a really easy to read, fun story. And I really like to just relax and get immersed in another world that is believable. And when you have worlds that are just out there, you're like, yeah, whatever. This one, you're like, I can see that. So I enjoyed that one. That was my number 4.
And what came in at number 3?
Number 3 was my Arrows trilogy.
We have 3 books on this on each of our lists that are the same, so I'm really interested to see where they fell.
Yeah, my Arrows would be my number 3, and if I had a choice, I'd probably put like all the Valdemar books as number 1, but you can't, but some of them are my more favorite than others.
Now, when we rank series, you'll be able to do that.
Oh yeah.
Top 5 favorite series. Smell a new video in the works.
Oh yeah, that would be fun. But what was your number 3?
Surprisingly, my number 3 is actually my favorite author. I put Love Bites by Lindsay Sands at number 3, which really, honestly, only made it to number 3 because it's accompanied by a series.
Okay.
Because I like the series, because it's my favorite author, I put it at number 3, although as a standalone book, I probably wouldn't have put it that high, to be honest. But because I do have that bias, and it is my video, I put it at number 3. Try to balance it out.
Yeah.
Number 2, however...
Number 2, however, was Night of the Living Trekkies.
Oh.
I put Night of the Living Trekkies as my number 2. I am a Trekkie nerd.
I mean, you've read it like 20 times.
I've read it like 20 times. Y'all go look at our video. The cover's warm. I read this book regularly just to... We said it was light but dark, but when I'm in a weird place and I just want to lighten up, I'll read the book because I laugh reading the book.
Yeah. It is quite humorous.
It's so humorous. And every time I read it, I see another little shout out that I might have missed before. And it's those little shout outs that... And he doesn't stick to Star Trek. Oh no. He had shout outs
references
everywhere.
Yeah.
What did you pick for number 2?
Number 2, I picked an author-submitted book. I picked The War Queen by Jen Robeson. The War Queen, if you missed the video, was submitted to us. We had done a call-out for books to review for new and independent authors on some of the writing groups I'm in, and we got a lot of responses. Too many to get through so quickly, but we will get through them all. It's just going to take a while. But The War Queen was one of them, and I really enjoyed it. I want to know more about that world, and it's a standalone book. Now, that's not to say the author might not decide to write some novels later on about the rest of the world, and I don't know. Maybe they won't, but I really, really enjoyed it, and I want to know more.
I can see that, because when they talk about him taking human form, I'm not going to give you spoilers, they mention things that happened like 1,000 years before. So
not to mention that whole country that's in between the two that we were watching.
Yeah.
There's a country literally in the middle of the two countries that we're like
primarily
following.
Focused on. Yeah.
So I'm like, I want to know more about this.
And they had a strange history.
Mm-hmm.
They kept their king.
Yeah. I'm really interested.
So that
I might email the author and be like, hey, by the way, are you thinking about?
Can you flesh a few things out for us?
At least just tell me. So, now we're down to number 1. I'd say on the count of 3, we both spit out our number 1. All right, 3, 2, 1. I Am
Hobbit.
Legend. Okay, cool. So, Book Mouse's number 1 is The Hobbit. Mine was not, and if you watch a review, you'll understand why. It's not that I hate the book. I enjoy the book. It just, the second read didn't go so well. And mine is I Am Legend.
Okay.
I enjoyed how, again, like you said, how much he went into the isolation and the effects of the isolation and the psychology of it and all of that. I really, really enjoyed the delve into a single character with very little stimuli. You don't see that in stories a lot. Usually they have so much going on, they don't know what to do, you know.
And you only get a little bit of this character, a little bit of this character. You could focus
entirely on Robert.
Yeah. I have to admit, I found it a little hard to pick, and then I realized, okay, let's stick to the books we've reviewed. That made it a little bit easier.
Okay.
If I had to just say, here's a library, pick your top 5, I'd lose my mind. I wouldn't be able to choose. Because there are so many books that I have loved that are personal favorites growing up that are almost impossible to find anymore. You have to know where to go. They're either out of print, unheard of, and to me that's really heartbreaking, because some of these books were my coming of age books that helped me get through preteen, tween, teenage years, and everything from A Girl of the Limberlost, which most people look at me and go, what? I'm like, A Girl of the Limberlost, look it up. A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. Some of the classics. You know, these are things I grew up on, and they nurtured me. So if I had the world to choose from, I couldn't pick a number 1. I just couldn't.
See, I can't pick a top 5 if given the same opportunity, just simply because there are, I can't even tell you worldwide, but I can tell you off the top of my head, I could probably name off a list of 10 or 20 favorite books, just simply because each one is a favorite for a different reason or touches a different part of me.
And it serves a different need.
It serves a different need, yeah. Which might explain some leanings on my part,
but I totally see where you're coming from.
I can't get everything that I need from one book or one series even.
No, you can't, and it's not fair to that author.
I mean, that's why I'm a writer. I can't get what I need from the books that I read, so I have to create my own.
And in a way that's not fair to the author, because you cannot please everyone all the time. And you'll go mad trying.
You can't please 100% of a person either.
No. But I think that the authors we've chosen are they have a broad spectrum of topics. They have a broad spectrum of what the theme of their story was. And they were each stimulating in a different way.
And I think each and every single one of them had a few things in common. But the first thing I can think of is it seems like all of them kind of really got into the character's head, really had some history behind their world, whether it was set in real life or some version of, or, you know, extraterrestrial life. I think they all did a really great job at getting down deep into the psyche of the character and what's going through their head, as well as the world building.
I have to admit, you have a point there. When you know something about a character, whether you like them or not, you're feeling something. You're feeling dislike, distaste.
You're relating to
pity,
it or not, or
admiration, something. You know, Night of the Living Trekkies. I felt pity for Jim at first, and then I was like cheering him on. Go, boy. But then I like that. I like being invested in my books.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it makes them more relatable and more enjoyable. When you can truly lose yourself in the pages for a little while, that you don't hear the phone, you don't hear the kids.
You don't hear the annoying pets. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sometimes I still hear that one because she's really loud.
Banshee is a lover, but she is almost too much of a lover.
She's very needy. We can hear her howl from the other side of the house.
I walk into the house and walk and you know, just barely make it to the living room, and all of a sudden I've got a cat scarf. So
yes, she likes the draping of the shoulders
and really likes these a lot.
Yes, she has a hair fetish.
Funny thing is, a lot of cats react to these, which makes sense. They're like strings. Cats like strings, but that's not what Banshee does with them. She just nuzzles them. She doesn't play with them and bat at them.
She rubs. She's got a hair fetish. That's all I can say is my cat is weird.
So anyway, I did pick a bonus to add to our top 5 simply because it kind of showed up in our schedule after we wrote our lists, and I think we both got a lot out of it and really enjoyed it. So I did add Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter into this video as a top 5 runner-up. We did have 3 in common, so
I'll give it a runner-up. I would give you that.
Yeah, because it just, oh my god, it went so deep. I'm still marveled about how deep it went into the history, how much homework the author did to write the book, and that's what puts it almost in the top 5 for me.
That is a good honorable mention. I'll give you that one. I having had to purge books over the years because there's only so much living space in a house, and evidently you have to provide space for your children.
How dare they?
And the cats and the husband, and they don't like stepping over piles.
I can't imagine why.
So I have repeatedly over the years, and plus when you move and you have a weight allowance, sometimes the books have got to go. There are some I will not let go of. I have held on to them for dear life, and I will not let go of them no matter what. And it's not that they're my utterly favorite, but like you said earlier, they move something in me, and I need them.
Mm-hmm.
I need to know that they're where I can get to them. And sometimes when your grandma gives you a book on your 12th birthday,
you just keep it.
You keep it, even though, you know, it's Little Women. But it's one of those iconic stories that you grow up with.
Yeah.
Maybe someday we'll do a world top 5. I know, the stress is too much. Look at her face.
Okay, you can do the world top 5. I will film you.
Do I have to stick to American books, or can I go outside?
You can do whatever you want for your video.
Because I actually have books in Japanese that are amazing stories. And
that's all you.
I think we got a good top 5.
Yeah. And as you mentioned, sometimes you can't hold on to books. Sometimes you have to get rid of some, or sometimes you buy one, you read it, you're just like, it was a good read, but I don't really need to keep it. So next week, we are going to be doing a book unhaul. We're going to see what books we're going to get rid of to downsize or whatever.
Make space for new books.
Yes.
That's why
I still have space.
A little bit.
I still have space. I have quite a bit of space, actually, if you pack the way I do. And I did my bookshelf tour.
Mm-hmm.
And I had mentioned in the video that was the first time that I ever ordered my books in any kind of manner like this. I usually do alphabetical, end of story. And then at my old apartment, I did alphabetical over here and vampire alphabetical over here. I separated them out, but they were still alphabetical. Now I've got it by like weight and size and genre and what relates to what, and I'm loving this setup. If for nothing else, then I can fit way more books. Thanks for joining us.
Next week, join us for our book unhaul as we purge our bookshelves and go over a little bit of why each book's got to go.
Be sure to check the description below where we'll list where to find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Goodreads, and Patreon.
Speaking of Patreon, you can now become a patron by just choosing one of 3 tiers, starting at just $3.
Join us for all sorts of fun shit like early access to our weekly videos,
exclusive behind-the-scenes footage and shout-outs,
bloopers, and more. Become a patron at any tier and gain access to our all-new exclusive live chat community.
So don't forget to hit that big red button to subscribe and to ring the bell so you're notified anytime we post new content.
We post weekly book review videos every Monday at 2 p.m. Central and extras sometimes on Tuesdays and Saturdays.
Well, that's all for today. This has been Book Mouse
and Book Kitty, and we are now
signing off.